So further to a previous video on hormones and ADHD and how I felt that I was in the Matrix. Oh, coughing on my own air, excellent. Method of death, choking on your own oxygen. What a way to go. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to talk about hormones and how they can exacerbate ADHD symptoms and how I am learning I can really use that information to just make my life a little bit easier for those around me and for myself. So a cycle, a typical 28-day cycle, you've got 4 different parts to a cycle where your estrogen levels and progesterone levels dip, and that has a different kind of response depending on where you're at. So firstly, your menstrual part, your menstrual phase, when you're bleeding. So your estrogen is at its lowest, your progesterone is at its highest, and you can feel very flat, you can feel very up and down. Previous coping just isn't working, strategies aren't working, ADHD medication doesn't seem to be working, that's why. Then you come out of that into the follicular phase when your estrogen starts to rise again and you feel like you're coming out of that fog and things are just starting to settle again, just feeling like you're getting back on it. Then you've got your ovulatory phase, which is when your estrogen peaks. That is when you're on top of your game, you're coping really well, things just feel a lot lighter, things that sort of pissed you off maybe a few weeks ago don't so much at the moment. I'm now realising why that is. But it's just that part before your estrogen is going to dive again. So there can be a bit of apprehension around that point, which then leads me on to the luteal phase, a phase that I'm about to go into on my cycle, and it fills me with utter dread because I know now what I end up like. Estrogen plummets, progesterone starts to rise as you prepare for the menstrual phase, and you just start to go downhill. Things seem to affect you more than they did previously. And yeah, I'm kind of dreading the next few days. And in terms of PMD, that sort of extreme PMS, which so many women suffer with, this can become a lot worse around this stage. So you're not crazy. It's not a bad day or a bad week. It's actually your hormones. And why do we not know this? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. The more I know about my own body, the more I can anticipate and maybe do things at certain times of the month that I know are going to work for me rather than work against me.